Hi, and welcome to Geordie Rambles, the channel where I walk, talk and explore. Today's video takes us along part of the Thames path, going from Woolwich all the way along to Tower Bridge, passing points of interest such as the Thames Barrier, the London skyline and the O2 Arena. Today I'm joined by my good friend Alex, where we have very candid conversations about what it was like to grow up differently and the effects this has had on our lives, and also as how we can learn and grow as adults from these experiences. Don't forget to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel for more walks like this one. Also check out the other walks on the channel in London and beyond, where I discuss all manner of topics regarding well-being. Hope you enjoy.
No service between Sydenham and West Croydon.
Oh, hello. Hi, and welcome back to Geordie Rambles. If you're new here, this is the channel where we walk, talk and explore. As you can see, I'm joined by my second special guest for the series, and this is Alex. Say hi, Alex.
Hello, I'm Alex, and this is also Alex.
So you've got two Alexes today, and who's this?
This is Smillie, and she's also going to be joining. She's got lots of views and opinions.
Excellent.
As well.
And can you tell them how we know each other?
So Alex and I met at a gay men's walking group, and that's where we met lots of our other friends. I think it was really quite luck that we all ended up on the same walk, because often hiking groups tend to skew slightly older. Nothing wrong with that, of course, but if there's lots of sort of pensioners, then it's nice to meet sort of other. I think early 30s we were.
Young
and innocent.
Yeah, we really were back then. Where are we going today?
So today we are on the Thames Pass. We are at Woolwich today. We've just come off the Elizabeth line station, and we're going to be walking along the river all the way past the Thames Barrier towards central London. You can go pretty much all the way, actually. I think all the way to Richmond.
If you wanted.
Potentially,
if you wanted,
but that's
we won't
going
be
to
today.
take. I think what we really like about it is that it's not quite an urban walk. You're along the River Thames. You can see all of the old shipping dockyards, because it used to be a working river, of course. There's now the ferry services, and it's sort of quite bleak, but in a really nice way. So I really recommend it to anyone. If you're ever in London, you've got a day, come a bit further out, come further east, and then walk your way back to central, maybe towards Greenwich or something, and cap it off there. So it's a really worthwhile walk, I think.
It's also kind of a slightly bittersweet walk. It'll be one of our last walks together while we're both living in London.
Yeah, I'm about to move back to Germany, because that's where I'm from. And so we've got a couple more weeks.
Yeah. Right, let's get going.
Yeah.
So we think this is a free car ferry that essentially just goes from one side of the river to the other. You can see the cars lining up on the left there. Dame Vera Lane.
Anyone knows who that is? Let us know.
We were just saying there, at low tide you can sort of see beaches here. And Alex, what are you saying?
So what's quite interesting about London, I think, is you can see people in city centre as well. They're looking for either ceramics or any sort of other artifacts from even hundreds of years ago that people just used to chuck into the river.
And they're still there now?
Yeah, it just washes up occasionally, sort of churns when it doesn't quite make its way out. And there's also frequently sort of bones being found, but that's not necessarily indicative of anything wrong. It's more old animal bones, again, from when people just used to chuck their stuff into the river.
So on the other side of the river here, we can see the Tate and Lyle factory, famous for sugar and syrup. We believe it's still active. We're not 100%, but it looks like stuff's going on there. And then there's some sort of boat offloading here. Really nice to see there's still sort of industry happening, isn't it, Alex?
It really is. And now you can see a plane coming into the London City Airport.
Ah,
which is
yes.
sort
Can I
of
get that on camera?
somewhere behind there.
Yeah, here it comes. But yeah, it's nice to know when you look this way, you can probably see just under the trees, you can see Canary Wharf and all the sort of world of tech over there. But come a bit further out, and there you've got the Tate and Lyle sugar factory. Lots of really interesting architecture and like buildings from like what, 70s, 80s, and
I would almost think some of it may even be older. We're just looking at, I'm not quite sure, there's a whole timeline on the wall we are walking next to about various inventions and how the area here was involved in history. It seems like telephone factories, battery factories, all going back to like the 1850s probably. So it's really, really interesting just to walk along.
So much history.
But
so just behind us you can see the Thames Barrier there. It's essentially a barrier system to stop London flooding.
it sort of works by hydraulics, but I'm not entirely sure. You can visit it. We're actually just by the Thames Barrier Visitor Centre.
It's been operational since 1982, but yeah, it's a sort of system where I think there's like a bit on the bottom and it tips up like that. I've always found it quite sort of eerie looking. It's like, it looks a bit like something off Doctor Who or like War of the Worlds. I don't know what it is about it. So here's a model of how it actually works. You can see this side over here, that's it when it's come up, and then it would lie flat on the riverbed like that.
It is a visitor centre and you can go, I think once a week or something it's open, I'm not sure.
But you can actually see it working, or?
I think they can show you like how it all works and you get a tour. Can we, Millie? Can we? Yeah.
I can't believe how much industry there still is down here.
Yeah, because normally we're here on weekends, I guess. And
There's so much going on.
Tarmac business, and you get all sorts of like rocks coming down the conveyor
You can see it
belts.
behind us, yeah. What you got there?
Yeah, so this is one of the bone fragments I was sort of mentioning earlier. I'm not sure. You can see sort of a little bit here, the marrow gone, maybe a joint of some kind. But that, like I said, is not a sign of any sort of wrongdoing. It's just people used to throw animal bones from butchers into the river.
That's a bone?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. You can sort of see the insides, those little cavities. Yeah, fossilized. It's very cool.
So, we've made it down onto the actual riverbed because it's low tide, which is really interesting. And I just wanted to ask how you're doing today, Alex?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. Like I said, I'm feeling very chipper. Got a big move ahead of me, so it's been quite a stressful few days. But I think like one of the things we came on to is just talk about mental health in general. I think I've got a perspective as someone who's transgender. So I think one of the first things I had to tell you guys when I met you, I mean, I've been in transition, so I'm female to male, and I've been transitioning for, over a decade now. I've been taking testosterone for a really long time. And one of the first things when I met Alex and our other friends, it was summertime, and we had a plan of going swimming in Highgate in the ponds, and I was really worried about it. Because I've met all these great new people and sort of new friends, and I was so worried that we're going to get there and they're going to see my scars on my chest, which now are really faded, but 7 or 8 years ago when we met they were still a little bit more prominent, and that I'd have to out myself that way. But thankfully, so when I, told you, hey, by the way, I'm trans, everyone was cool with it.
Oh yeah, it meant nothing.
Everyone, and
it meant
was,
nothing in the best way, if that makes sense. It just meant nothing.
Yeah,
right? in the best possible way.
That's usually the best reaction. I find, sort of like, okay, like whatever.
Yeah, it was completely like that. And thank you for sharing that.
Trans people suffering with mental health issues is very, very high. And I've been on the receiving end of that as well, of course, and I'm doing great now. But yeah, there's certain, I think, sort of things like depression and anxiety are very prevalent in the community, and certainly sort of even going through puberty as a child. I think it's very normal for teenagers, cis or trans, to be sort of ambivalent about their bodies changing. But for me, it became impossible to live in that sort of body. I remember even being like 6, 7 years old, I knew something was up. I've always known, like, I want to be a boy, that something isn't right. And I think everyone else knew as well. And certainly when I came out in my early 20s, no one was surprised. Everyone said, my sister-in-law so said, yeah, everyone knows. Ever since I started testosterone and had top surgery, I'm so much more at ease. I'm so much more relaxed, and I can finally move forward with life and interact in life the way it was always meant to be, and it just feels completely natural.
And we can see that as well. And as I say, thank you God, sorry, the camera's all over the place.
That's the
thank you for
sun's right
sharing
there.
that. But just before we carry on and crack on with the walk, if you could give one piece of advice, and it wouldn't necessarily have to be to a trans person, but someone who is just not, a younger person who's just not comfortable, or an older, anyone who's not comfortable in themselves at all, if you could give them one piece of advice, what would it be?
I would say in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, you might look back on yourself and say, I wish I had been kinder to myself. Just because you may be in a bad situation, maybe you're getting bullied in school for any reason. It doesn't necessarily need to be trans. It could be sexuality. It could be maybe your hair color is the wrong way, or maybe you don't have the latest fashion, or whatever kids bully for. It doesn't define you. You are so much more than that, and you will grow and your life will change. And just have compassion with yourself, even if you're feeling low at the moment. Remember your own worth, even if you're maybe not feeling like you're worth anything. Trust me that you are. Trust me, there are people who love you, there are people who support you. So be kind to yourself.
And it will get better.
It will.
It will.
It
like,
will.
just will.
Yeah.
So here is the Emirates skyline, or I think it's not Emirates anymore. I think it's just called the London skyline. This goes, as you can see, from the north to the south side of the river. It opened in 2012, in line with the Olympics. Quite a lot of controversy around this line for its purpose. I mean, you can go on it, it's not the cheapest. It's a bit of fun, but it's hardly like a full tourist attraction, is it? And apparently there's only 1 or 2 regular commuters who use it. Have you anything to add about it, Alex?
I went on it last year just to do it, and you see London from up high and you go over a river.
There it is.
There isn't really much. I think there's like a cafe on the other side.
Yeah, there's not much on the other side. This end, at least you're in Greenwich, but
no.
What do you think, Millie?
Yeah.
Any thoughts? Just now coming past the O2 Centre and Arena. It used to be the Millennium Dome when it first opened, which is like a weird museum type thing. I will say the O2 Arena is designed really well, like the sound quality is really good compared to a lot of the other arenas I've been in. Giant Lego, anyone? I was just reflecting on what you were talking about earlier, because for me, I think I guess today we're talking about essentially what growing up different is like on any sort of scale, from growing up very different to growing up sort of slightly different. And I think for me, I spent a lot of time like denying the hurt that growing up different brought and how hard it was. I sort of said, no, it was fine, everything was fine. It's like, if you live like that until you like acknowledge the sort of the hurt and the trauma that growing up different brought, you can't grow and you can't sort of heal.
Yeah, it leaves you alienated because you can't really share with anyone. what's going on.
And no one
because
else knows exactly what that feels like.
Mm.
And I just think we need to remember that so many of us have grown up different, and just to show, like you were saying, just a bit of compassion, and like people might react a certain way because of something that's happened to them previously, which sounds such a basic premise, but people don't. We don't, you know what I mean?
Mm. I do think you're right. It sort of leaves its traces on your
Yes.
personality.
Yep.
And your psyche, and it's sometimes even stuff you might not be aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you live a life that doesn't fit into that box simply
The
because
norm.
it can't be.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be. You know, my brother has a brother and sister, kids,
Yeah.
marriage, house, you know, all of that stuff that we grow up, certainly in the West, like, yeah, that's what you're striving for, that's what your life should be like, but it's not possible.
And
So, I
it's
don't know.
ingrained, isn't it? It's ingrained, even though you don't want that pathway, it is ingrained in you to feel like you should want it.
You've had sort of difficulties growing up.
Yeah, definitely looking back, I found it really hard growing up. I felt really othered, and I felt really strange. I never felt I fitted in, ever, you know what I mean? Until I was much older, like 16, 17, 18. Just a bit of context, just to jump. We are at Greenwich, so we're about halfway.
Yes.
We're about 7 miles to London Bridge, which ironically is actually over there, because it's like as you imagine the EastEnders theme tune. It's like a peninsula, and we're sort of walking around the edge of it. So we can see the Shard over there, but we're going to have to walk sort of round.
Yeah, I have to walk around. So Canary Wharf is going to keep following us.
So I've zoomed in, you can see back over there, that's where the skyline is, which is to our right. There's the O2, then Canary Wharf over here, which, as we can see, so many more buildings now. Then then you can see over here, there's the Shard, and there's City there. So you can see it's, and then Greenwich over to our left. So it really is like we are winding around the river. We're just coming through Greenwich now. Just saw some footage from the Royal Naval College, the Cutty Sark, which you can see behind me, and then the Greenwich Foot Tunnel, which takes you to the other side. So yeah, huge maritime history here. So a lot of the walk after Greenwich, we've had to come inland, essentially because you can't get along the Thames because there's various factories, etc. along there. So passing us through sort of housing estates and stuff like that. But that's quite an interesting sort of bit of texture to the walk. So we're hitting a bit of like fatigue. How many miles do you think we've done?
Oh, I don't know, but it's very long. It's deceptive because you're going around the river and with all of the curves.
And it's just so flat at this point. Like we're definitely hitting a bit of like...
Yeah, there's more interesting bits coming again.
Yeah, but London
in
Bridge
a bit.
feels a long way away suddenly. Okay, it's on the horizon. There's Tower Bridge, there's the Shard, and you can see St. Paul's over here as well. Oh, maybe 40 minutes. It's much longer than we thought it was going to be. Okay, we've made it to Tower Bridge. That was long. The end was hardcore. Did you have fun, Alex?
It was really fun. I do keep forgetting just how long this walk is, but it's definitely worthwhile. So I would say if someone wants to do it, start at maybe 9:30.
Start nice and early. It is a
Yeah.
day walk.
It's
Thank
a
you
long
so
one.
much for coming along with us. Please don't forget to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel, where there's going to be lots more walks coming up in London and beyond. Alex, will you join us again for a walk at some point?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.